It is difficult when you realize that you need to detransition for a variety of strong reasons, and then the community you are part of rejects you.
A detransitioner is someone who transitions to the opposite sex, but then later on goes back to live life as their biological sex. It is someone who most likely has confused gender dysphoria with other mental health issues that they deal with. On Reddit alone, there's a group for detransitioners. In less than 5 years, the group has more than 36,000 members. Detransitioners are a group of people who have gone through hell, been confused about their identity from a very young age, been misled by social groups and therapists, neglected by doctors who gave them medicine and or gender-related surgeries, and they now have to live with the consequences for the rest of their lives. And on top of that, they're met with a lot of ignorance and no support at all from the trans community where they used to be embraced. In today's video, we're going to take a look at how detransitioners are treated in the trans community, so let's debunk some of the anti-detrans arguments. The community often argue that highlighting detrans stories is problematic because it's fuel for transphobes. That transphobic people will use detrans stories in order to believe that no one should ever transition. Of course those people exist. I'm not denying that at all. However, it's so insensitive to wish that people don't share their stories about themselves, share their heartbreaking journeys, just because some will use it for the wrong reasons. It's not only insensitive, but selfish to only care about how another person's pain makes you look bad. We can't control if others might take advantage of our words, our stories. We simply can't. And that's life. It's a part of living in the real world.
Trans people detransition all the time. When you're on HRT, there are just going to be times where you are going off of your hormones for whatever reason. That is technically medical detransition.
Of course that could be the case, but the fact that the community constantly and desperately want to validate people as trans is tiring. Me making the distinction of real transsexuals and fake transsexuals is what I get hate for the most. Because according to the community, the worst thing in the world is to say to someone, "You're not trans."
It's very annoying that a lot of detransitioners don't know how much stigma that they cause towards the queer community. Many of them make it hard for us to access healthcare. And then add on to the stigma that we're confused and that gender-affirming healthcare should be checked when the professionals obviously know what they're doing.
A well-known term in the community that describes the decision of who can get hormones and or surgeries and who can't is called gatekeeping. Trans activists, they want very little gatekeeping, meaning they want a medical transition as easily accessible as possible. If we as a society highlight detrans voices a little bit too much, their concern is that new laws will be put into place that makes it extremely hard for real transsexuals to get access to their medical transition. But gatekeeping is absolutely necessary. It's necessary to provide thorough examination to vulnerable people before changing their lives. Transsexuals are the only group in the healthcare system who are in charge of their own medical treatment, and it's irresponsible. I would say it's medical neglect to let people with mental health issues be in charge of their own medicine, their own treatment. Making it a requirement that you are diagnosed with gender dysphoria before receiving the medical treatment is, in my opinion, a good thing, because overall it validates trans people. It validates their feelings. It will also prevent individuals who don't suffer from gender dysphoria from ruining their lives.
The detransitioned FTMs always become TERFs.
Your detransitioning involves promoting radfem ideology, specifically of the transphobic variety, and co-signing transphobia.
Oh yes, the detransitioners spew transphobia. Just like any group of people, not all detransitioners think the same. So yeah, you would find detransitioners who are so hurt by their horrible experience that they form transphobic beliefs. But what I've heard most from this group is this.
I support people making the decisions that are right for them, even including transitioning their gender, and sometimes that can be really right. It just wasn't right for me, and that's the story I'm trying to share, that it is okay to detransition, and to also say not all detransitioners hate trans people. I certainly don't.
Do I believe that transgender individuals should have access to hormones? Absolutely. I acknowledge that HRT can be life-saving medicine. I just think that before a person starts hormones, they need to know 100% that this is what they want and this is what they need. I thought this was what I wanted and this is what I needed. And it literally wasn't until days before that I realized that it wasn't.
What I find extremely sad is to hear their experience leaving the trans community, and the overall reaction to their existence is this.
It is difficult when you realize that you need to detransition for a variety of strong reasons, and then the community you were part of rejects you. I would say the majority of trans people that I've encountered in my comments and things like that have pushed against me just for speaking out.
There is copyrighted music on this TikTok, that is why it's all weird and muted, but I hope you get the point otherwise. At some point, they have to take personal accountability for their own decisions. Only because my mom regretted to have a nose job doesn't mean I no longer need one to breathe properly. What? Your language is so harmful. Talking about one of the girls I've used in the video. Detransitioners need to know that they're cis and aren't authorities on trans issues. Anyone can talk about trans issues, babe. No, for real, they keep saying, I used to be trans. No, you never were. I thought gender was fluid. No, I'm not gonna do that. The amount of likes on these comments is depressing. But I find it amazing how much many detransitioners have learned from their horrible experiences. They have nuanced and intelligent conclusions to this very complicated topic of transitioning.
The main point that I'm trying to make with these videos is just saying that, we have to be certain before we can just hand out hormones. That way we'll have fewer detransitioners and fewer people that are unhappy. In the end, I really don't care what you identify as. I just don't want people making the same mistake that I did.
Unfortunately, this rejection can really push a lot of detransitioners to groups who support them, who are often anti-trans. And I think that that is something that needs to be understood by the people who are trans and trans allies who are skeptical of detransitioners and don't want our story to be shared. That the more they push against us and reject us, the more people are going to fall into these groups and then be anti-trans. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy, if you will, and I think that we really need to work on accepting each other wherever we're at, saying, okay, this wasn't for you, but I still love you.
Thank you all for watching. I really hope you liked this video. Make sure to leave a comment down below, subscribe to this channel, and I'll see you in my next video. Peace out.